Now that Left 4 Dead 1 is done, we can move on to Left 4 Dead 2, starting off with its first level, Dead Center, or level 7 overall. And here we are, finally with the Left 4 Dead 2 survivors. It seems that the places and levels they go through are more diverse, so we'll start off with the first one. It was simple to find this one, as it's confirmed that the group begins in Savannah, Georgia. Stage 1. The Hotel. The group begins their journey at the top of a hotel known as the Vanna. The Vanna is unfortunately fictional, but we can look for hotels that are near highways and look at pictures to match if it was modeled off the real hotel. Now, during my search, I found that a grand hotel was being built that would have been 8 stories in downtown Savannah, but as of now, it hasn't come into fruition. Also, that the street they began on was loosely based on Bay Street or East River Street, so I looked there for more accurate results. I found 2 that were the closest matches to the Vanna. Both are on the shores of the Savannah River. The Thompson Savannah by Hyatt at 201 Port Street, and the Marriott Savannah Riverfront at 100 General McIntosh Boulevard. The latter's lobby looks a lot like the Vanna's from the game. I also found another called the Westin Savannah Harbor Golf Resort and Spa at 1 Resort Drive in Savannah, although this one's lobby doesn't really match. Stage 2. The Streets. After the group escaped the burning hotel, Ellis mentions that they should stop at a gun store, which is along the way to the mall. When they get there, the gun shop owner wants them to go into a mini-mart to get him some cola. So, let's look for gun stores that are near grocery or corner stores. I found 2 that were near highways. Z & Son Fine Guns LLC, located at 5 East Montgomery Cross Road, and CRC Guns and Weaponry at 8408 Abercorn Street. There also is a Bass Pro Shops at 145 Abercorn Street, number 1503. There is no corner store by the first gun store, just offices, but there's a Red Lobster and Texas Roadhouse across the street from it. And the second one is in a strip mall, but the rest of the businesses are offices and auto places, and there is a bar and grill not too far behind it called Odyssey 2.0 Restaurant and Lounge at 65 West Fairmont Avenue. Stages 3 and 4, the mall and atrium finale. The group has finally made it to the mall, which is called Liberty Mall, and has a large atrium at one of the entrances. There are a ton of malls in Savannah, and most of them appear to be strip malls, not the grand box-style 80s-esque one from the game. The closest ones I found are the Oglethorpe Mall at 7804 Abercorn Extension in Savannah, and Victory Square at 1900 East Victory Drive. Funnily enough, Victory Square has auto shops, Dixie Motors and Mako Auto body shops and paintings. According to the wiki, Liberty Mall is most likely based off of the Bellevue Square Mall, located all the way at 575 Bellevue Square, Bellevue, Washington, which is where Valve's headquarters used to be. Level 2, or 8 overall, The Passing. The group has made their way across Georgia and ended up stuck in a place called Rayford, which is where the first group ended up. Then they met the first group, minus Bill. Once again, Rayford is based on the city of Macon, so we'll go back there and look up more notable places for this particular level. People online have said that this level looks to be modeled after the historical district of Savannah, and a user named Digital Devil linked an Imgur album showing pictures of Forsyth Park and Bay Street, I think. But since we've already established that the city is actually Macon, I'll find places there that match. Stage 1. Riverbank. The group starts off at a small park near the river's edge, and then go into a souvenir shop. Macon has several gift shops, so I'll look for ones that are closer to the Okmulgee River. There are two downtown that might match. The Visit Macon Downtown Visitor Center at 450 Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard, and the Lawrence Mayer Florist and Flower Delivery at 608 Mulberry Street. Next, the most notable place the group goes through are apartments. I found a couple that weren't too far away from the river. I found one just by looking on Google Maps, called the Broadway Lofts Apartments at 698 Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. I also looked on Trulia, and several others I found were the Washington Lofts at 582 Mulberry Street, and Bib Music Lofts at 201 and 215 Cotton Avenue, which looks the closest to the ones in-game. After that, the group gets to a park with a gazebo where a witch dressed in bridal attire was supposed to get married, but the green flu ruined the wedding. The only park I found that wasn't too far from the river and had a gazebo is called the Carolyn Creighton Park at 150 Willie Smokey Glover Drive. The park also hosts fairs and concerts and has an annual Cherry Blossom Festival. Stage 2. Underground. The group leaves the safe room and finds themselves on a street with neon lights and lots of different businesses. The two most notables in this area are the tattoo shop and billiard lounge. I found 3 tattoo shops near the Bib Music Lofts: Tooth and Nail Tattoo Parlor at 484 Cherry Street, Redemption Tattoo Parlor, Macon's Premier Custom Tattoo Shop at 487 2nd Street, and Piercing's Tattoo Lounge at 374 2nd Street. As for the pool halls, I found one downtown called BJ's Billiards at 430 Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. After crossing a ditch, they find themselves at a bar or cafe. The closest ones I found is called Churchill's on Cherry at 557 Cherry Street. The area around this place looks just like that part of the game. Once they get to the streets, they go through a jazz lounge and down into the tunnels and an underground river tour. While there isn't a singular jazz club in Macon, there is something called the Jazz Association of Macon, JAM, which promotes jazz throughout various bars and clubs in the city. So I looked for nightclubs instead. There were 2 in the immediate vicinity of the Churchill's on Cherry: the Reboot Retrograde and Bar at 566 Cherry Street, and the Daisy Tequila Bar at 518 Cherry Street. As about the underground river tour, sorry to ruin your hopes, but it doesn't exist. The closest thing I found is the Earth Lodge Okmulgee Mounds National Historic Park. Sorry, I meant that the Under the River tour doesn't exist. In Macon, it's actually a real place, and they're in Seattle. They're called Bill Spidle's Underground Tour at 614 1st Street in Seattle, Washington. They showcase what was once the original Seattle, which was burned in a fire in 1889 and now sits below the current-day city. If I'm being honest, they should build another new city on top of the current Seattle because, well... Stage 3. The Port. This is the same place as where the sacrifice ended off, which is near the river and a shipping facility. Once again, the closest ones I found were the Trading Post Moving and Storage Document Storage at 103 Cherry Street, and the Treasure Chest Dropship Packing and Shipping Store at 111 Lower Elm Street. Level 3, or 9 overall, Dark Carnival. The group have found themselves stuck on a clogged highway with abandoned cars that go on for miles. They now must get to an amusement park from Coach's Past, and they see that there are big searchlights, so this is their best hope for rescue. According to the wiki, the place they're at is Griffin County, Georgia, which isn't a real county. But there is a city called Griffin in Spalding County, which is part of the Atlanta metropolitan area. The Griffin is about 45 miles south from the city proper, so I'll use this city for the basis of my search. As for the amusement park itself, there are several in the vicinity of Atlanta, and Griffin has fairgrounds. Stage 1. The Highway. The highway the group had to stop on, according to an overhead sign seen in the game, is called 16 West Atlanta. There are two highways with similar names in Georgia. Interstate 16, also known as Jim Gillis Historic Savannah Parkway. It goes across the state and connects Savannah and Macon, and Georgia State Route 16, which connects multiple counties and goes to Griffin, so perhaps this is the one we're looking for. After walking for a bit, the group reaches a motel known as Whispering Oaks Motel. It seems to be right in the outskirts of the amusement park, so I'll look for ones near Griffin and its fairgrounds. There are 3 motels on the north outskirts of Griffin that could be the one. The Speedway Inn and Suites, located at 2014 North Expressway in Griffin. The second is the Griffin Inn and Suites at 2010 North Expressway. And the third is the Baymont by Wyndham Griffin at 2007 North Expressway. About the gully and stream the group crosses after they go through the motel, it doesn't seem to exist. There are a couple very small lakes in Griffin and 3 bigger ones further away from the city, called Lake Horton, Shoal Creek, and Coal Reservoir. Stages 2, 3, 4, and 5. Fairgrounds, coaster, barns, and concert. Since the rest of the stages take place in the amusement park, I've combined the rest of the level into one. Unfortunately, Whispering Oaks Amusement Park is not real, but Griffin does have a fairgrounds, which is next to its county airport. It's called Kiwanis Fairgrounds at 1025 South Hill Street, and it hosts the Spalding County Fair. Now, I also looked up real amusement parks that are in between Griffin and Atlanta, and I found several. There's lots of water parks because, obviously, it gets hot in Georgia, nature obstacle courses in the outskirts, and indoor trampoline and race car tracks. There is a place called Fun Spot America Theme Parks Atlanta, located at 1675 Georgia 85 in Fayetteville. It has go-karts, roller coasters, an arcade, an event space, and an eatery. The next closest visual match I found in this area is Six Flags Over Georgia at 275 Riverside Parkway in Austell. I also found one that is on the edge of Georgia near the Tennessee border and in the city of Chattanooga. It is called the Lake Winnepesaukah Amusement Park at 1730 Lakeview Drive in Rossville. Like Whispering Oaks, it has a lot of kids' rides, an old-fashioned wooden coaster, and a Ferris wheel. Just for fun, I looked up other places named Whispering Oaks on Google Maps, and it showed a bunch of apartments and condos scattered throughout the country, except for one, called Whispering Oaks Farm and Event Venue, located at 1677 US Highway 401 South in Warrenton, North Carolina. Level 4, or 10 overall, Swamp Fever. The group got pretty far after they were rescued from Whispering Oaks via helicopter. The pilot ends up turning into a zombie, Nick is forced to shoot him, and they crash land in some shabby town in the swamps of Louisiana. They go through the town, and they see that all the residents of this place went to a village named Village en Marais, which is deeper into the swamp. According to the wiki, this village is based off of White Castle, Louisiana, a town about 76 miles north of New Orleans and closer to Baton Rouge. So for my search, I'll look up places in the game that are around that town. Stage 1. Plank Country. The group had taken shelter in a train car after the crash. There are a few railroads that go through Louisiana, and the ones closest to Baton Rouge and White Castle are the Union Pacific Railway, the Canadian National Railway, and the Kansas City Southern Railway. Next, the group passes through a rural gas station to get into the unnamed town. I found two in the town itself. A Chevron at 32015 Louisiana Highway 1, and a station called Marathon at 31890 Louisiana Highway 1, both in White Castle. After the gas station, the group gets to a part of town that serves as its main street, with a couple unnamed businesses like a mini-mart, bar, ice cream shop, and most notably, an alligator farm attraction called Earl's Gator Village. There are real alligator farms in Louisiana, but none of them are near White Castle. The nearest ones I did find, which were pretty far from the town, are the Greenwood Gator Farms and Tours, which has two locations. One is a farmhouse tour at 3535 Louisiana Highway 18 in Vacherie, and the other is at 125 Gator Court in Gibson. The other place is east of Baton Rouge called McGee's Louisiana Swamp and Airboat Tours, which is located at 1337 Henderson-Levy Road in Henderson. There is also a swamp tourist attraction just outside of the White Castle called Acadian Swamp Tours at 58235 New Camp Road. Lastly, for the ferry that took them across the river, the only one I found near White Castle is a little ways away in Plaquemine, which takes you to both the east and west banks of the Mississippi River. Stage 2. The Swamp. After the group left the town to go and find the village and swamp people, they were in the middle of nowhere, deep in the Louisiana swamps. None of the places they encounter have addresses or street names, so I can only conclude they were in a rural wildlife sanctuary or management area. The nearest official one is the Atakapas Island Wildlife Management Area in Franklin, Louisiana. The bayou outside of White Castle doesn't have a name, but in all that blank space of swamps exists a few tiny communities that could be home of the shacks and old houses in this stage of the level. The four I found that are rural and most similar are Bayou Chene, Pier Part, Bell River, and Bayou Corn. Stage 3. Shantytown. The group has at last reached Village and Marais, or White Castle, but unfortunately, they're too late. Everybody else has turned into a zombie. There is a single store here as soon as they exit the safe room, which is near the outskirts and houses. There are 3 markets located in White Castle. A Dollar General at the edge of town at 33290 Bowie Street, Daigle's Supermarket at 32845 Bowie Street, and Double Cats Market at 32405 Bowie Street. The rest of the level are just houses, including the Crescendo event where you have to drop the bridge. I assume this area in the game could be based on the northwestern outskirts of White Castle, or perhaps the nearby communities of Dorseyville or Catherine. Stage 4. The Plantation. This one was easy to find, since White Castle is home to the largest surviving plantation from the antebellum era. It was called the Nottoway Plantation, and it looks just like the one in-game. It was located at 31025 Louisiana Highway 1 in White Castle. Unfortunately, on May 15, 2024, the main house was destroyed in a fire, though some dependencies and historic structures remain on the property. I've gotten mixed findings on if the main house will be rebuilt or not, but I hope they do. Level 5, or 11 overall. Hard Rain. With the help of a Cajun man named Virgil, the group can traverse the bayou and get to New Orleans in no time. But they're forced to make a pit stop to get fuel for the boat, as it is running low. The group traverses a town named Ducatel, which, according to the wiki, is in Mississippi and along the Mississippi River. I have found a couple places that could be the one we're searching for down the river from White Castle, since the group obviously didn't go up the river towards Baton Rouge. Stages 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5: Milltown, the Sugar Mill, Mill Escape, Return to Town, and Town Escape. Since all of the stages take place in the aforementioned Ducatel, and the level itself is pretty linear, I have combined all of them into one. Now, I searched for places along the Mississippi River that have a sugar factory and restaurant along the river shores, and that happen to be in between White Castle and New Orleans. There actually is a sugar factory in White Castle called the Cora Texas Manufacturing Company at 32505 Louisiana Highway 1 in White Castle. However, I don't think this is the one we're looking for, since the group had just departed from White Castle, and I doubt that they'd stop so soon for gas. Further down the river is a town called Gramercy, which does indeed have a sugar factory. This one is called Louisiana Sugar Refining, and it is located at 1230 Fifth Avenue in Gramercy. A little ways away from the Mississippi River are two more sugar factories along Bayou Lafourche, which is a small river that deviates from the river in Donaldsonville. The first one you'd reach is called Lafourche Sugars LLC, located at 141 Layton Quarters Road in Thibodaux. The second is further down the bayou called Raceland Raw Sugar Corporation, or Mill, located at 175 Mill Street in Raceland. Bayou Lafourche continues down and deviates from the Intracoastal Waterway, which leads to Lake Salvador, and this can be used to get into southern New Orleans, passing in between Marrero and Harvey. There are two more sugar mills closer to New Orleans, both in Arabi, but I feel that these ones are too close to New Orleans, and Ducatel seems much smaller than Arabi. Moving on to the next notable location is a restaurant that's along the river. Going back to Gramercy, I looked up restaurants that are located near the river and road closest to the water, which is Louisiana Highway 44. I also tried to see if any of them have big neon signs like the one in game does. The only one I found that is nearest to the river is called No Biles Restaurant and Bar, located in the adjacent town at 2082 West Main Street in Locher, although it is not near the river's shores. All the other restaurants in Gramercy are located off the main road of the town, including a Subway, Sonic, McDonald's, Popeyes, China King Buffet, and Sandwich World. A little ways from the main road are a place called Salad Station in the eastern outer part of and Golden Grove, a restaurant that is attached to a truck stop and Marathon Gramercy gas station. There also is a place called B&C Seafood Riverside and Cajun Restaurant, located at 2155 Louisiana Highway 18 in Vacherie, but this restaurant and town are situated on the southern shores of the Mississippi River. Now, back to Thibodaux to find a restaurant that is on the river's edge. There are several restaurants located along it, and all are on St. Mary Street. Kira's Japanese Grill, Maggie's Snowballs, La Estrella Latin Market and Taquiera, Crawdaddy's Seafood, Cajun Kid Burgers and Wings, Papa's Seafood, Bayou Donuts and Cafe, and lastly, Brooks Snow World Thibodaux. Lastly, I'll look at Raceland for possible restaurants along the river and Louisiana Highway 1. I found several possible places. New Orleans-style Po' Boys, Nick's Seafood, Goalpost Drive-In, and Beck's. And further down the road is the main square of the town. The closest one to the river is called Kyoto Steakhouse and Sushi Bar. For the final part of this level, I'll look for truck stops where the group got the diesel from. In Gramercy, the only one is the previously mentioned Marathon gas station in Golden Grove. The address is 935 Louisiana Highway 641 in Gramercy. There are two in Thibodaux, the Adventure Truck Plaza and Casino at 1809 Louisiana Highway 3185 and Colonel's Truck Plaza at 213 West Park Avenue in Thibodaux. Finally, the two located in Raceland, Nacos DBA Olay Spanish Trail Truck Plaza at 2639 Louisiana, the Highway 182 Suite D, and Raceland Plaza and Casino at 110 Service Road in Raceland. Level 6, or 12 overall, the Parish. The group has finally made it to their ultimate destination of the city of New Orleans. It isn't clear which part of the city they're in, but there are notable landmarks the group passes by during this level. Without further ado, let's search and find the possible path that the group took. It's said that some of the locations are fictionalized and not 100% exact, but I'll try my best to find them. Stage 1, the waterfront. The group has been dropped off on a boat launch, presumably still along the Mississippi River at New Orleans' south side. The place they start in is based off of the French Market, a series of commercial, open-air buildings spanning 6 blocks in the neighborhood of French Quarter. The group passes through a bar, which appears to not have a name, but perhaps it was based off of Café du Monde or Monty's on the square, the latter looking more like a match. Monty's address is 801 Decatur Street in New Orleans. Now, as for the second restaurant they go through and out of to the safe room, it could honestly be anything. On the same block as Monty's, there are 3 other restaurants: Waffle Time, Fives, and Stanley of New Orleans. Stage 2, the park. There are several parks in New Orleans that could be the one from the game. Across the street from the aforementioned Monty's is Jackson Square, a historic landmark that has a horse statue like the one in game. The statue is that of Andrew Jackson, which was sculpted by Clark Mills and erected in 1856 to commemorate Andrew Jackson's victory at the Battle of New Orleans in the War of 1812. In the game, that park itself is called Bienville Park, and a small park does indeed share that name in the real New Orleans. It's a lot smaller though, and swaps out the word place instead of park. The statue here is that of Jean-Baptiste Lemoyne de Bienville, the founder of New Orleans. It was designed by Angela Gregory and cast in 1955. It is located at 400 Decatur Street in New Orleans. Now, after the park, the group gets to a bus station that was being used as a CEDA evac point. According to the wiki, this station was located near Interstate 10. There are a few bus stops near Trem Lafitte and Interstate 10, but none of them really match with the one in game. There is a Union Passenger Terminal at 1001 Loyola Avenue, but this seems to be too far into downtown to be a close match to the one in game. Stage 3, the cemetery. After leaving the safe room and going through various neighborhoods and a nasty sewer, the group finds themselves at an impound lot below the overpass. I found one that was a near perfect match, the Parking Division Auto Pound at 400 North Claiborne Avenue. After this, the group makes it onto the overpass, but their celebration is short as the military blows up the freeway, forcing the group to go through one of the infamous above-ground graveyards. In the game, the graveyard is called the St. Roch's Cemetery, which, according to the wiki, is based off of St. Louis Cemetery. It has 3 properties, but number 2 is the closest to the overpass, so I'm going with this one as the inspiration for the one in game. Stage 4, the Quarter. This stage is obviously based off of the French Quarter, so using this, we can pinpoint where the group possibly was just before they get into the bridge. I thought it would be nearly impossible to find where exactly they were, but I thought of something else. In this stage, they have to move a Mardi Gras float in order to move on, so I looked up where the Mardi Gras parade's primary route is. The celebration is pretty much all over the city, but the main route, according to NewOrleans.com, starts on Napoleon and Tchoupitoulas before it turns on St. Charles Street, then runs down most of it to downtown before its final turning onto Canal Street towards the river. Unfortunately, this didn't really help my search. The group does go through a jazz club with billiards on the second floor, and I look for some that are near the bridge. The bridge we'll get to shortly. Most of the jazz clubs were on Bourbon Street. There was one called the Mahogany Jazz Hall, which is closer to the bridge and located at 125 Chartres Street. The closest pool hall I found is also a bar and called a Checkpoint Charlie, located at 501 Esplanade Avenue, or Esplanade. In fact, this bar and pool hall and the surrounding area look more like the game than where I found the nearest jazz club. Stage 5, the bridge. This is a home stretch. The group has finally made it to the bridge, where there are still military personnel on the other side. According to the wiki, the bridge is based off of the Crescent City connection, which takes you to the neighborhood of Algiers. In the game, the bridge is called the Veterans Memorial Bridge, and there is indeed a real-world counterpart that shares the same name, but it's not in New Orleans. The real Veterans Memorial Bridge is actually located in the previously discussed Gramercy. It connects that town to the north and Wallace to the south. Level 7, or 13 overall. Coldstream. The group have found themselves in a small canyon with flowing water. It is a coniferous forest that is on fire, and they must make their way to, well, anywhere. They must follow the river to try and get to any form of civilization, as water always leads to a settlement. It isn't explicitly said where the group is, but there are places in the real world that share the same names. The last stage is the group following a river called Cutthroat Creek. I looked up if this place was real, and it is indeed a real creek, in rural Colorado near Navajo Peak and Elephant Head Rock. It merges into the Navajo River. While the other places in the level might be in other places of the world, I'll use the Navajo River, real Cutthroat Creek, and Colorado as a whole for the basis of my research. Stage 1, Alpine Creek. There are a few real places called Alpine Creek, but it seems that the most notable one is in California. It's a small river in San Mateo County, near the town of La Honda, where it confluences to the La Honda Creek and finally to the San Gregorio Creek. I looked up Alpine Creek in Colorado, and I found two places with that name. Alpine Creek, a small river or tiny town in Saguache County. According to the aerial view, I believe it might be a tiny settlement along the more prominent Dead Man Creek in the Great Sand Dunes National Park and Preserve. The second is called Alpine Ridge Trail, a hiking area in Larimer County and the Rocky Mountain National Park. Stage 2, South Pine Stream. I only found one place elsewhere from Colorado with this name, the South Pine Creek in Washington County, Idaho, close to the Snake River and Oregon border. As for Colorado, I found two things that could match. The Pine Creek Trail along the Gunnison River in Gunnison, Colorado. I also looked up towns in Colorado called South Pine, and the only one I found was an unincorporated community, just called Pine, in Jefferson County. Only the main road in this town is paved. All the others are apparently dirt roads. Stage 3, Memorial Bridge. This one was a bit more tricky to find, since Colorado has several bridges. Going back to the Navajo River, there is a Navajo Bridge, which is actually twin steel parallel bridges that are above the Grand Canyon, but these are in Arizona. There is a Royal Gorge Bridge and the Royal Gorge Bridge and Park in Fremont County, Colorado, near Canyon City, but this goes over the Arkansas River and not the Navajo River. Stage 4, Cutthroat Creek. This is going back to the previously mentioned real Cutthroat Creek in Colorado, which apparently flows into the Navajo River. Unfortunately, there seems to be no street view of this area, and the nearest settlement that does is Promo. For this final stage, I also looked up river tunnels or drainage tunnels in Colorado. I found two prominent ones. a tunnel in Grizzly Reservoir that is 4 miles long and flows with shallow water, and the Gunnison Tunnel, which delivers water to thousands of people on the western slope. Bonus: Millhaven from the Sacrifice comic. As a little bonus, I decided to also include Millhaven, the military outpost from the Sacrifice comics where the group was taken to after Blood Harvest. I looked up Millhaven in Pennsylvania, and one thing I found was a small neighborhood in Thornbury Township, Delaware County, Pennsylvania, and there is also a mill road. And in the adjacent town of Concord Township, there is a Millhaven Road. But these don't seem to be the one we're looking for, as the one in the comics appears to be in the middle of a big city. There isn't any other place in Pennsylvania called Millhaven, but there are other places with similar sounding names. Millvale, which is a borough in Allegheny County, across the Allegheny River from Pittsburgh, and Millville, which is a much smaller borough in Columbia County, and a part of the Bloomsburg-Berwick metro area.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
And so, the video is now over. Thank you all who have made it this far, my subscribers and newcomers. If you are a newcomer, consider liking and subscribing, and comment and share what you liked or disliked about the video. I put a lot of research into this one, and I had to look for real places and around Google Maps to see if those places physically matched. This one was really fun, and I enjoyed strolling around virtually across Pennsylvania, Georgia, Louisiana, and Colorado. Be sure to check out my Ko-fi page for polls about my next video and for donations. Once again, thank you so much. I am Pink Lemonade Guy, and until next time, I'm signing off.